suspicious absences, hurtful snubs, and cringe-worthy comments, Ivanka Trump may have once been a constant presence in her father's life, but their relationship is nothing like what it once was. During Donald Trump's first term as president, Ivanka was one of his advisors, but when Trump announced in November 2022 that he was running for re-election, his eldest daughter was suspiciously absent. She later released a statement that said, "While I will always love and support my father, going forward I will do so outside the political arena." Ivanka cited a desire to focus on her children and spouse as motivators for stepping away from politics. However, there are other subtle signs that keeping her father at arm's length was an inevitable choice for the former White House staffer. For one, her social media accounts were free of campaign messaging throughout the 2024 presidential campaign. Ivanka did craft some very noticeable posts right before Election Day, but they were missing any mention of her father. For instance, in an Instagram post on the eve of the election, Ivanka highlights life lessons that she's learned at 43. The post includes a large photo collage of special moments in her life, but absolutely no trace of the rest of her famous family. Even her list of 16 life lessons made no mention of the election or Donald. Based on the timing of this post, it appears Ivanka stayed true to her word and prioritized her personal life. Though it may have been tempting to jump back into the fray for Trump's 2024 campaign, Jared Kushner explained to the New York Times that his wife's decision was final, saying, "Ivanka made the decision when she left Washington that she was closing that chapter of her life, and she's been remarkably consistent."
There's a lot of darkness, a lot of negativity, and it's just really at odds with what feels good for me.
Back during Donald Trump's first presidential run, though, Ivanka was just as ever-present as her father, and that consistency continued throughout his term. Despite all of the support and advice she gave him, it appears that Donald may have hung Ivanka out to dry after an embarrassing incident. While attending the G20 summit in 2019, Ivanka found herself ostracized during a conversation with important world leaders. In a clip shared by the French government, Ivanka can be seen getting a silent response after trying to engage with their discussion. Opponents of the then-president were quick to criticize his decision to let Ivanka represent the nation. However, Donald didn't have Ivanka's back as she weathered this very public situation. This suggests she may not be able to count on him when the going gets tough. After his first term ended, Donald found himself facing multiple indictments, and his daughter-turned-advisor kept herself firmly out of his orbit. As a source shared with People in 2023, Ivanka had no plans to help her father with his legal defense. Her desire to avoid this aspect of her father's life suggests that her departure from his political sphere had larger implications. The source told People, "Ivanka basically wants a new life to compensate for what she lost when she spent 4 years in her father's Washington." Unfortunately, Ivanka wasn't able to stay as far from Donald's legal quagmire as she may have hoped. In late 2023, she was called to testify in his civil fraud trial and did so against her wishes. Speaking of things Ivanka may not have wanted, an early 2024 incident involving her son Joseph Kushner suggested that Donald may not have been making his grandson a top priority. In a since-deleted post on X, Donald greeted Ivanka and her husband at a UFC event, but completely ignored his young grandson's attempts to get his attention. Ivanka was understandably miffed and reportedly had to console her son after the incident. Since Ivanka's family took front and center after she stepped away from politics, it's likely Ivanka took this thoughtless snub to heart. That's definitely not the only time Donald has done or said something weird around Ivanka, though. His version of expressing his affection for Ivanka is pretty uncomfortable. Based on some of his past comments, his attraction to her may go far beyond the usual fatherly appreciation. For example, in a 2015 interview with Rolling Stone, Donald implied that he would be interested in a different sort of relationship with Ivanka if they weren't family. Unfortunately for Ivanka, this isn't the only time her father made such a cringe-worthy comment. In 2006, Donald appeared on an episode of The View and said
that if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her, you know.
When it comes to humiliating family moments, this one is hard to beat.